Steps to solving systems of equations. Step 1. Isolate the variable in one of the equations. So that means you're going to get it either to be y equals or x equals. Step 2 is to substitute the isolated variable in the other equation. Step 3. This will result in an equation with one variable. Solve the equation. Step 4 is to substitute the equation from step 3 into another equation to solve for the other variable. Step 5 is recommended. Check the solution. Number 1. Step 1 wants us to put our equation, one of our equations, in y equals or x equals form. We already have one. So I'm going to take what this y equals and plug it into there for step 2. So therefore, step 2 says to rewrite the equation, but when you get to the y, plug in what y equals into the equation. So 6x minus 11. Close the parentheses because it's more than one term, equals negative 7. Step 3 says to solve the equation. So I know I need to do the distributive property there with this whole number. So I'm going to bring down my negative 2x, apply the distributive property. So negative 3 times 6x is negative 18x. Negative 3 times negative 11 is positive 33 equals negative 7. Here I'll combine the like terms. Negative 2x minus 18x is negative 20x. Bring down the 33 equals negative 7. So now I need to solve for x. I need to bring the constant to the other side. So I'm going to subtract 33 from each side. So then I have negative 20x equals negative 40. Divide each side by the number in front of the variable, negative 20. You get x equals 2. Step 4 says I need to plug my answer from the equation. That means I need to take this x equals 2 and I'm going to plug it into my first equation, this x spot, to solve for y. I could do it here, but that would just require more steps. So now I have y equals 6 times 2 minus 11. Y equals 6 times 2 is 12 minus 11. Y equals 1. So that means my POI, my point of intersection for these 2 points, is at 2, 1. Step 5 says to plug it into both equations and verify it. So then I will put the checks right below number 3 here. So I have 1 equals 6 times 2 minus 11. And then my other equation is negative 2 times 2 minus 3 times the y, which is 1, equals negative 7. This in, so I have 1 equals, plug this into your calculator. 12 minus 11 is 1, it checks. This one would be negative 4 minus 3 equals negative 7. Plug this into your calculator. You get negative 7 equals negative 7. It checks. Number 2. Step 1, get one of the equations in y equals form, and that already is. The second equation is y equals x minus 1. So this is going to go into what y equals. 2x minus 3 times what my y equals, which is x minus 1, equals negative 1. So now I have 2x. Negative 3 times x is negative 3x. Negative 3 times negative 1 is positive 3 equals negative 1. Add together my like terms. I get negative 1x plus 3 equals negative 1. Subtract 3 from both sides. negative 1x equals negative 4. Divide by negative 1, x equals 4. One of the original equations, plug my x into it. So since the second equation is the easiest to do, I'm going to have y equals 4, which is my x, minus 1. So y equals 3. So my POI, my point of intersection for the two equations, is 4, 3. I need to verify it. So then I have 2 times negative 3 times the y minus 1. And the y equals the x minus 1. So my x is 4 and my y is 3. Plug this into your calculator, you get negative 1 equals negative 1. 3 equals, plug this into your calculator, 3. They both check, so the answer is correct. They're both a solution to the system of equations. Let's do number 8. As I'm looking at it real quick, both the equations are in standard form. But as I look quickly, this x is all alone and it's positive, so I can get it alone real easily in one step by adding 2y to both sides. So I'm going to add 2y plus 2y to give me a new equation of x equals 11 plus 2y. So now I'm going to use this here and plug it into that x right there. So then I'll have negative 7 times my x minus 2y equals negative 13. And my x is 11 plus 2y. Negative 7 times 11 is negative 77. Negative 7 times 2y is negative 14y. Bring this down. He's not part of the parentheses there, so just bring him down, equals negative 13. Combine my like terms, so negative 77 minus 16y equals negative 13. I need to get my variable alone, so I'm going to add 77 to both sides. Then I have negative 16y equals 64. Divide each side by negative 16, and you get y equals 4. So now I've got to take what my y equals and plug it back into one of my first equations. So I'll plug it back into this one, into the second equation for that y. So then I have x minus 2 times my y equals 11. My y is equal to 4. X minus 8 equals 11. Add 8 to each side. X equals 19. Therefore, my POI, my point of intersection of these two equations, is 19, 4. Okay, please finish the worksheets attached, and the answers are on the very last 2 pages.